some state level, some central level, some technical based examination as well, where there is a section of reasoning, quant and the general awareness, then these sessions are very beneficial for you. And if you know few people who are preparing for such competitive exams, then don't forget to share of these particular videos with them so that they can also join us and do practice with us. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss a topic that is time, speed and distance, and I guess we all are aware about this particular topic as we already studied a few concepts while we are in our school, right? So let's start understanding this particular topic and few key points that we need to keep in our mind while solving the questions based on it, and after that we start solving the questions, right? So the one basic formula that we need to use in the whole unit is nothing but the distance is equals to speed multiplied by time. This is the only formula that we are going to use in the whole unit. All we are going to do is we are just going to mold it as per our choice. If we want to calculate the speed, then what we are going to do, we are just going to divide the distance by time. If we want to find out the time, then what we are going to do, again we are going to divide the distance by speed. But there is one more thing that we need to keep in our mind. If the distance is constant, there are few conditions. If distance is constant, in such scenario, what we are having our speed which is inversely proportional to the time, which is the speed is inversely proportional to the time if we are having our distance as a constant one. Similarly, if we are having our speed as a constant, in such scenario, our distance is directly proportional to the time, and if the time is constant, then distance is directly proportional to the speed. These are the few points that we need to keep in our mind while solving the questions based on it. And there's one more thing, we need to take care of the units. Here we are having the different units. The main units that we are going to use in this one is kilometer per hour and the other one is meter per second. But what we need to do, we need to take care of the units every single time, because in some of the questions we are having distance in the kilometers and time in the seconds. So please do convert it before solving the question. So now the question arises how to convert it. I really hope that most of the students are well aware about this. If we want to convert the kilometer per hour, kilometer is a bigger unit and we know that the meter per second is a smaller unit, right? So if you want to go from a bigger unit to smaller unit, what you need to do? You need to multiply it with the smaller number and divide it by the bigger number. So basically you need to multiply the kilometer per hour by 5/18 to get the answer in meter per second. And if you want to convert your meter per second into the kilometer per hour, that means we are trying to convert our smaller unit, that means in the bigger one, that means we need to multiply it with the bigger one and we need to divide it with the smaller one, and we can easily able to convert it into kilometer per hour, right? So these are the few conversions that we need to keep in our mind while solving the questions. A very good evening to all of you, right? Now let's start solving the questions, and this is the very first one. So the first question is saying that two persons P and Q started towards each other with a speed of 5 and y kilometers per hour and meet each other after 54 seconds. If the distance between them is 1.12 kilometers, then find y. What we need to do, we just simply need to find out the value of y. How we are going to attempt it and what answer we people are getting? Any one of you in the comment section? We also need to use the concept of relative speed over here. Just try to solve this and let me know what answer people are getting. Okay, let's start discussing it. As the two people are coming towards each other, that means this is the opposite direction, and we know that opposite attracts each other. So the relative speed that I got over here is the first one is 5 and the another one is y, right? But if you will see here, we are having few units in kilometers per hour, kilometer, but here the time that we are having over here is in the seconds, right? So it's better to convert the whole thing in meter per second first, and after that, if the answer is given in the kilometer per hour, we can convert it, because if we are going to convert the 54 into the hours, then it's going to complicate a bit, right? So if I want to convert my kilometers per hour, as we already discussed, if I want to convert my kilometer per hour into the meter per second, then what I have to do? I have to multiply it by 5 by 18, right? Very good, Sim Hardi. Okay, so what I need to do? I just need to multiply it by 5 by 18, and whatever the speed that I got over here is in the meter per second, right? Now, there's one more thing which is given over here, and meet after 54 seconds, okay. If the distance between them is 1.12 kilometer, okay, so can we able to calculate the relative speed? Yes. If we want to calculate this relative speed, we can say that this relative speed is nothing but 1.12. So we can write it as 1120 meters, and what we are going to do, we are just going to divide it by 54. We are just going to divide it by 54. What value we are getting? Any one of you in the comment section? Any one of you in the comment section, what value we are getting over here if we are going to divide the 1120 by 54? I can use a calculator. So here we are getting 20.74, and this is in the meter per second. This is in the meter per second. Now, the next step that we need to do is we just simply need to equate this one and this one together, and ultimately we will get our answer. Instead of solving this particular values over here, what you can do, you can also do one thing, you can directly start calculating it, right? So instead of writing it separately, I can write it as 5 plus y multiplied by 5 by 18. This is nothing but the relative speed that I got over here in the meter per second is nothing but 1120 divided by 54. Now what you can do, you can just simply able to solve this one, and you can easily able to calculate the value of y. So any one of you in the comment section, what value we are getting as y? Any one of you, what is the value of y that we got over here? Okay, if you will solve this, you will get a value of y as 69.67 meters per second. This is the value of y that you got over here, but we need to find out the answer in kilometers per hour, right? So now if I want to convert this value into kilometers per hour, again what I have to do, I have to multiply this by 18 by 5. So if I want to convert the answer in the kilometers per hour, I just simply going to multiply this value by 18 by 5, right? And when you are going to solve it, the ultimate answer that you are getting is 250.67 kilometers per hour. That means your option number D is the correct one. Sorry, 56. Option number D is the correct one. So all you need to do is you just simply need to understand the language of the question, and accordingly you need to attempt it, right? Next. The next question says that if Arun walks at a speed of 12 kilometers per hour instead of 10 kilometers per hour, then he must have travelled 6 kilometers more in the same time. Then find the distance travelled in 10 kilometers per hour. Now what we need to do here, some condition is given and the question wants to know how much distance covered by the Arun with 10 kilometers per hour. This is a very simple one. Look, here we are having two speeds. For Arun, we are having two speeds over here. The first one is of 12 kilometers per hour, right? And the another one is of 10 kilometers per hour, right? These are the two speeds that we are having over here, okay? Now the question is saying that he must have travelled 6 kilometers more in the same time. So the time limit is same, but if he is going to increase his speed by 2 kilometers per hour more, as we can see that the difference over here that we got over here is of 2 kilometers per hour, right? Because of this 2 kilometers per hour, he can able to travel 6 kilometers more in the same time. And we know that we are having a formula that speed into time is equals to distance. The difference in the speed, or we can say because of this speed, that is nothing but 2, he can able to cover 6 kilometers more. So what value should I put over here as t? So the time period is 3, because I know that when I multiply 2 with 3, I can able to get 6. So basically they are taking 3 hours. So just multiply it by 3, you get 36 kilometers over here as your distance, and if I multiply over here by 3, I'll get 30 kilometers as a distance. Now if you will see, all the conditions are satisfied and the question is simply asking how much distance he covered with the speed of 10 kilometers per hour, and we got our answer as 30 kilometers. Option number A is the correct one. Option number A is the correct one. Very good Manikanta, very good Rakesh, very good Mala, right? The correct answer over here is your option number A, 30 kilometers. It's a very easy question. Next, the next question says that if a bus covers 2/9 of the distance with 20 kilometers per hour and the remaining in 28 kilometers per hour, during the whole journey, bus takes 10 hours in total, then find the total distance to be travelled. Okay, to be travelled. So just simply try to understand the language of the question and accordingly let me know what answer you people are getting. Any one of you? Look, as we are not having the specific details over here, I am just assuming the distance that I need to cover over here is of either the 9 parts or the 9 kilometers. It's completely my choice, right? So I am just assuming the assumed distance is of 9 parts. I am just assuming that, right? Now out of this 9 parts, 2 parts of it are covered with a speed of 20 kilometers per hour and the 7 parts of with 28 kilometers per hour, right? Now if I am just trying to understand these things, I can say that in these 2 parts, one part is covered with the speed of 10 kilometers per hour, I can say that, right? Or you can, instead of making it more complicated, you can directly write it as the 2 parts is covered with a speed of 20 kilometers per hour, right? Plus the 7 parts are covered with the speed of 28 kilometers per hour, right? Now this fraction can be written as 1/10 and this fraction can be written as 1/4. According to the question, the whole journey is going to be completed in 10 hours, right? the whole journey is completed in the time period of 10 hours, right? Very good Ganesh, very good Manikanta. Let's see what is the correct answer over here. So if I am going to solve this particular thing, what value I am getting? Here I can take my LCM as 40, right? So here we are having 4 and here we are having 10, that is nothing but the 14 by 40. And again if I am going to simplify it, I will get 7 by 20 parts. So basically the question is saying that the 7 by 20th part of this one, now I am just taking D instead of 9, right? So the question is trying to say that the 7 by 20th part is covered in a time period of 10 hours, right? Now if I want to calculate the total distance, I can say that this is nothing but 200 by 7, right? I can easily able to write it as 200 by 7, and the value that we are having over here is a total 9. So I am just going to multiply it by 9, and I guess we can now able to solve this, right? If we are going to solve this, we are getting answer as 2, and here we are having 40 to 50. Okay, all the values are in this only. So 5, and I guess after that we are having 49, 50 point something 14. So basically the answer that we got over here is your option number D. The correct answer that you got over here is your option number D. All you need to do is you simply need to solve this particular thing, and here we know that the fraction part that we got over here is covered in a time period of 10 hours. You will get a value of D, and here we just assume that we covered 9 parts, so that's why we need to multiply it by 9 before getting the answer, and once we will solve it, we got our answer as 257.14 kilometers, right? Very good Rakesh, very good Simriddhi, right? Next. The next question is saying that a train had to cover 300 km of distance in 6 hours, but train covered 2 by 3rd of the distance with 40 km per hour. Then find by what % speed of train needs to increase to reach the distance on time. Again, it's a very easy one. All you need to do is you just need to do the basic calculation, and after that what you need to do, you just simply need to use the concept of percentage change and you will get your answer. Very good Balaji. Anyone else? Very good Samriddhi. Let's see. It's a very easy one. So look, the question is saying that the train had to cover 300 km distance in 6 hours. That means the required speed is 300 divided by 6, distance divided by time. We will got our speed as 50 kilometers per hour, right? 50 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now, but the train covers 2 by 3rd of the distance. Now, total distance, we know that the total distance that we are having is 3 kilometers. So, 2 by 3rd of it, that means 200 kilometers. This 200 kilometers are covered with a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Okay. So, let's try to figure out the time. Time is nothing but 200 kilometers are covered with 40 kilometers per hour. That means it took 5 hours, right? Now the time limit that we are having, initially the train needs to cover the whole distance in 6 hours, but with in 5 hours, the train only covers a distance of 200 kilometers. That means the remaining distance that we need to cover is remaining distance that the train needs to cover is 100 kilometers, right? And the remaining time that we are having over here is of 1 hour. Remaining time that is again is of 1 hour, because we are having a time limit of 6 hours and we already consumed a time period of 5 hours. So the speed that we required over here is 100 by 1, that means the speed required is 100 kilometers per hour. Now the question wants to know by how much percent the train needs to increase his speed so that the train will reach at the same time. So here we are moving with the speed of 40 kilometers per hour and we need to cover, or we need to go on the 100 kilometers per hour. So the change that we got over here is of 60 kilometers per hour and the initial one is 40 multiplied by 100, and we can easily able to get the answer. So here if you will see, here we are getting 25 and when we multiply it we will get 150%. That means option number A is the correct one. Option number A is the correct one. It's a very easy one. Very good Manikanta, very good Rakesh, but very good Deepak, but the correct answer over here is your option number A, 150%. Right? It's a very easy one. Right? You just simply need to understand the requirement of the question and you know that ultimately the same formula we need to use, distance equals to speed into the time. Let's move further. The next question says that Pavitra takes a total of 9 hours 55 minutes to walk a certain distance and then cycling back to the same place from where she had started. She could walk both the ways in 12 hours 30 minutes. Then, the time she will take to cycle both ways is, okay. So basically here the question is trying to say that here we are having one person who is walking in a total of 9 hours and 55 minutes, and after that she is doing the cycling back to reach the same initial point. Now, if she is going to walk in both the ways, the time taken by her is of 12 hours and 30 minutes. Now, we need to find out if she will cycle in both the ways, how much time she will take. Again, it's a very simple one. All you need to do is you just simply need to create a small equation and you will get the answer. Sorry. Very good Manikanta, very good Rakesh, very good Nasimha, very good Deepak. Okay, let's see. So the question is saying that if we are having an equation like walk plus cycle, right? The total time taken by her is of 9 hours and 55 minutes, right? Now the question is saying that if she is going to walk in both the ways, that means she is going by walk and coming by walk. Now she is taking a total time period of 12 hours and 30 minutes, right? So what I am going to do, as I can see that here I am having twice of walk is equals to 12 hours and 30 minutes. So you can go in both the ways. Either you can just simply multiply this whole equation by 2, so you can easily able to get the twice of cycle, right? Or you can also do one thing, you can just simply find out the value of one walk first and just simply substitute it, and after that whatever the value you got, just multiply it by 2. So instead of going in this way, I'll just prefer the first one. I just simply multiply this equation by 2, right? As I multiply this equation by 2, I got twice of walk plus twice of cycling is nothing but, now 9 into 9 is nothing but 18, but here we are having 55 and we are talking in the terms of time period. So here what we will get? We will get 19 hours and 50 minutes. Right, we will transfer this 5 minutes to another one and I will make it at 60, and 60 minutes is converted into 1 hour, and that's why we are getting 19 hours and 50 minutes over here. right? Now we know that the value of this one, the value of this part is nothing but equal to 12 hours and 30 minutes. So we can easily able to calculate the value of twice of cycling, which is nothing but is our answer, because as we need to find out if she is going to cycle in both the ways, what value we are getting. So here we are having 19 hours and 50 minutes minus 12 hours and 30 minutes, right? So in the minutes we can say that here clearly we can see that we are getting over here is 30 minutes, right? And in the hours we are getting 7 hours. So 7 hours 30 minutes, wait, 20 minutes, sorry, 20 minutes. 7 hours 20 minutes. Option number C is the correct one. Option number C is the correct one, right? Next. The next question says that if Sumit travels with the speed of 10 kilometers per hour, then he reached 2 minutes after, but when he travels with 12 kilometers per hour, then he reaches 2 minutes before the time. Now what we need to do, we need to find the actual time to reach the destination. Very good Parinita, very good Balu. Now try to solve this particular question. Okay, very good Balaji. Anyone else? Whenever you are having these kind of this kind of question, instead of going with the variables, it's better to take the LCM as are the assumed distance, right? So the initial speed that we are having over here is the 10 kilometers per hour, and the other speed that, or we can say the increased speed that we are having is of 12 kilometers per hour, right? I'll just simply take the LCM, and whatever the LCM we are getting, I'm just assuming it as my distance, right? So the LCM that we got over here is of 60 kilometer. This is the assumed distance. Now we know that if I am having speed over here and I am getting distance over here, that means somewhere I am multiplying this by time, so I have to figure out the time. So if I multiply this by 6, I'll get my answer as 60, so this will become my time, and similarly here we are getting 5. So the difference that we got over here is of 1 hour, right? Or you can say the 1 unit. The difference that we are getting over here is of 1 unit. But according to the question, how much difference that we are getting in the time period? Let's suppose the actual time to reach is of 10 AM, right? The actual time period where this person, Sumit, needs to reach is 10 AM. But if he is moving with a speed of 10 kilometers per hour, he is reaching at a time period of 10:02, right? 2 minutes after. And if he is walking with 12 kilometers per hour, he is reached by 9:58 AM. That means the distance or the difference that we are getting in a time period is of 4 minutes. The difference that we are getting is of over here is of 4 minutes. That means the value of this 1 unit is given over here is of 4 minutes. Right? Now what we need to do? We just simply need to find out the actual time to reach the destination. Okay. So how we are going to calculate it? It's a very simple one. Initially, if you will multiply it by 4, you will get a time period of 24 minutes. And if you will multiply it by 4, you will get 20 minutes. And you need to find out the actual time, as this is 2 minutes early. So 20 plus 2, the actual time is of 22 minutes. Simple. Option number C is the correct one. Option number C is the correct one, 22 minutes. The correct answer is of option number C, 22 minutes. Right? We need to find out the actual time. This is 2 minutes early and this is 2 minutes late. So you can also do one thing, just simply subtract 2 from it. Again you will get the correct answer as 22 minutes, right? Next. The next question says that a theft stole a bike and runs at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. After 2 hours, policemen started chasing him with a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Then find in what time police will catch him. This is a very easy one. It's not necessary to go through the traditional approach over here. If you will go time wise also, then you can easily able to get the answer. There are two methods to solve this type of questions quickly, and we are going to discuss both of them. Very good, Rakesh. Anyone else? Very good, Ballu. Very good, Abrajit. Very good, Manikanta. I guess most of you people are, almost all of you are getting the correct answer. Very good, Narsamma. Let's see. Here the speed of thief that we are having over here is of 30 kilometers per hour, right? And the speed of the policeman is of 40 kilometers per hour. Again we are having two speeds. So what we are going to do, we are just going to take the LCM, and the LCM that we got over here is 120. So this is the assumed distance. This is not the actual distance. This is our assumed distance. As we are having the distance and the speeds, now what we need to do, we need to calculate the time. The time taken by this is 4 and over here is 3. The difference that we are getting is over here is of 1 unit, right? The difference that we got over here in the time period is of 1 unit. But according to the question, police started after 2 hours. That means the value of this one is nothing but 2. Right? If the value of this 1 unit is 2, that means the distance is also is present on the multiple of 2, and the actual distance that these people needs to cover is of 240 kilometers. Now if the police is chasing with the speed of 40 kilometers per hour, then how much time the police will take? So distance is of 240 divided by 40, and the answer that we got over here is of 6 hours. Very simple. Option number D is the correct one. But what is the second method, right? Okay. So, in this one, let's suppose if I don't know this particular concept and I also don't want to go with the traditional approach. Now, you know that with the first hour, right, this might take few more seconds than this one, but ultimately you will get the answer, right? In the first hour, thief covered 30 kilometers per hour, right? And the policeman 0. The police 0, right? In the second hour, thief covers 60 kilometers with a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Police again 0. In the third hour, thief 190 kilometers. Thief covered a distance of 90 kilometers, and police now started and he covered a distance of 40 kilometers, right? Fourth hour, thief 120 kilometers, police 80 kilometers. Again, we are just adding the values as we are having the speeds. Fifth hour, thief 150 kilometers, police 120 kilometers. Sixth hour, thief 180 kilometers and police 160 kilometers. Seventh hour, thief 210 kilometers, right? Yes. And the police with 200 kilometers. Now in the 8th hour, thief 240 kilometers and police is also at 240 kilometers. Basically at this position police got the thief, but with the respect of police, as we need to find out what time policemen will catch him. So with the respect of policeman, we only covered a distance of 6 hours, and if we want to find out with the terms of thief, then it will take the total 8 hours, right? So accordingly we can able to get it. Next. The next question says that if a cycle covers a certain distance with 8 kilometers per hour of speed, but due to gradient, it covers the same distance with 6 kilometers per hour, due to which it takes 2 hours more, then find the total distance covered. How we are going to solve this? Yes, Rakesh, we can also do in that way. Very good, Manikanta. Very good, Deepak. Anyone else? We are having both the speeds and the time difference, right? The first speed that we are having is of 8 kilometers per hour, and due to gradient, the new speed that we are having is 6 kilometers per hour. First step. The second one is just to calculate the assumed distance. Assumed distance is 24. Now the third step says that what we need to do, we need to find out the time period, right? So here we got it as 3 and here we got it as 4. The difference that we got over here is of 1 unit. But according to the question, it takes 2 hours more. That means the value of this one is of 2. If this value is present on the multiple of 2, that means this value is also present on the multiple of 2, and the actual distance that we got over here is of 48 kilometer. Option number D is the correct one. Very good, Ballu, very good, Rakesh, and very good, Nasima, right? The correct answer over here is of 48 kilometers, right? Next. The next question says that if the ratio of time taken by bus and car is 3:5 and the distance travelled by bus was double to that of car, then find the ratio of their speeds. Okay, very good, Deepak. Anyone else? Very good, Manikanta. Very good, Ballu. Anyone else apart from these three? Okay, let's try to understand. The question is saying that the ratio of time taken by bus to car is given as 3:5. Right? This is the thing that we are having over here. Okay. The distance travelled by bus was double. Okay. So let's try to calculate the speed of the bus. As the distance got doubled, okay, so we can say that twice of distance. As the distance is given constant over here, right? Okay, so twice the distance that bus needs to cover with the speed of or the time taken by bus is TB, right? And the speed of the car is nothing but the distance divided by the TC. Is it okay if I do write it like this? Now what I need to do, I need to find out the ratio in between the speeds. speed of bus to car. So I can write it as SB divided by SC. This is nothing but the format of ratio. So here we are having 2D divided by TB. The whole thing is divided by this one, D divided by TC. As I can see, this D and D got eliminated, right? And if I am going to solve this, I can write it as twice of TC divided by TB. As I am having a value over here, so I can write it as 2 multiplied by 5 divided by 3, and here the ratio that I got over here is 10:3. The ratio that I got over here is 10:3. That means your option number C is the correct one. Your option number C is the correct one. It's quite easy, right? Very good, Praveen. Very good, Balu, right? Very good, Rakesh. The correct answer over here is your option number C. Next. The next question says that if the time ratio of car and bus is 3:4 and the distance travelled by them individually is 120 kilometers, then find the speed of the car. It's again a very easy one. Very good, Ravinder. Now just try to solve this particular question. Very good, Nasimha. Anyone else? Very good, Ravindra. Anyone else over here? Very good, Deepak. Very good, Manikanta. Very good, Ballu. Very good, Rakesh. Very good, Satyanarayan. It's a very simple one. The distance is given, which is nothing but the constant, right? So if you want to write down the ratio, then you can just simply reverse it. But what we need to do, we need to find out the speed of the car. So this is the time taken, time ratio of car to time ratio of bus, right? So we can say that that's it. Option number A is the correct one. Next. Very good, Balaji. Very good, Venkata. But the correct answer is your option number A. Next. The next question says that if the speed of train A and train B to cover 150% of distance and 162.5% of the distance is same, then find the ratio of time taken by the trains. Okay. Very good, Nasimha. Anyone else? Very good, Kavi. Very good, Praveen. Very good, Kavita. Let's see. So for train A, we are having a distance of 150% distance, right? So 150 can be written as 3/2, 100 plus 50, right? And we can write it as 3/2, right, in the fraction. For train B, we are having 162.5% of distance, right? and we can bifurcate it as 100% plus 50% plus 12.5%, right? This can be written as 1 plus half plus 1 by 8. When you are going to solve it, you will take LCM as 8. So here 8 plus, here we got 4 and plus, that means 13 by 8. So basically if I want to write down the ratio of distance, over here is like train A and train B. The distance ratio that I want to write over here, I can write it as 3 by 2 and here we are having 13 by 8. But we know that if we are having like ratios in a fraction, then we just simply try to simplify it first. As we are having these terms over here, I can write 4. I can just simply able to eliminate it with the help of 2 and I'll just transfer this 4 over here, and the distance ratio that we got over here is 12:13. And the question is saying that the speed of train A and the train B to cover is the same. That means if the speed is constant, we already studied this, if the speed is constant, then distance is directly proportional to the time. That means the same ratio remains for the time. So for the time also we got the same, that is 12:13, and that's what we need to find out. That means option number D is the correct one. Option number D is the correct one. It's quite simple, right? Next. The next question says that if train covers a distance of 80 kilometers with t time in s speed, if the same train covers the same distance with t minus 2 times, then speed will be double. Then find the speed s. What we need to do? We just simply need to find out the value of s. Distance constant, time ratio reciprocal. If we are having distance as a constant one, we already discussed this thing. If the distance is constant, then speed is inversely proportional to the time. If the speed is constant, then distance is directly proportional to the time. If the time is constant, then distance is directly proportional to the speed. Very good, Manikanta. Anyone else? Very good, Praveen. It's a very simple one. The question is saying that if the train covers a distance of 80 kilometers, that means first we can try to find out the speed of the train. So speed of the train can be written as the distance that train needs to cover is 80 kilometers with the time period of t. Right? Okay. Now, if the same train covers a distance of t minus 2 times, the same distance with t minus 2 times, then the speed will be doubled. Okay. The same train covers the same distance with t minus 2 times, then speed got doubled. Okay, so 2st is nothing but 80 divided by t minus 2. This is what the question is trying to say us, I guess, right? So what we are going to do, we are just going to substitute this value over here. This is the only option that we are having. So this will become 160. 160 divided by t is nothing but equal to 80 divided by t minus 2. So here we can write 2. So 2t minus 4 equals to t. So we got t as 4. And as we got t as 4, we just simply substitute it and we will get it as 20. Option number D is the correct one. I am not going to substitute. You can easily able to put a value 4 over here. 4 into 2, that is 8. So we will get 20 as our answer, right? We will get 20 as our answer. Very good, Praveen. Very good, Nasimha. Very good, Venkat. Ballu. Very good, Venkata. Very good, Deepak. Very good, Manikanta. But the correct answer over here is your option number D, right? Next. The next question says that if the speed of bike becomes 9/7 of itself, then it takes 6 hours less to cover the same journey. Then find the actual distance travelled. Again, this one is an easy one. $20 kilometers. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, let's see. If the distance of bike becomes 9/7, so we can write down the initial or the final ratio. Initial or the final ratio of speed. So initially if the speed is 7, it will become 9. 9/7 of its time. Right, as the distance will remain same, so we know that if the distance is constant, speed and time are inversely proportional of each other. So the time ratio that we got over here is 9/7, right, if you want to write it out. But we know that what we can do, if we are having two speeds, then we can able to find out the LCM. So the LCM that we got over here is of 63. So the time period is 9 and 7, again the same things you will got over here. Over here you are getting a difference of 2 units. But according to the question, the difference that you are getting over here is of 6. That means here 1 unit is equals to 3. If 1 unit is equals to 3, that means we need to find out the actual distance travelled. So we just simply multiply it by 3. And we are getting 189 kilometer, and I guess this is not available in the option. 189 kilometers is the correct answer. Or you can do one thing, you can find out the multiple of it. You can find out the multiple of it, but the correct answer over here is of 189 kilometers. Right? Next. The next question says that a person driving his car at S kilometers per hour speed, but due to traffic, he reduces speed by 25%, right? Due to which average speed during the whole journey becomes 24 kilometers per hour, then find his speed in traffic. We just simply need to use the concept of average speed over here, and we can easily able to get the answer. Look, we know that 25% can be written as 1/4 in the fraction, right? If the initial speed, I'm just assuming that if the initial speed is 4, then the reduced speed, or we can say the new speed that we got over here, is of 3, as the speed is reduced by 1. Now the question is saying that because of this, the average speed during the whole journey becomes 24 kilometers per hour, and we know that if I want to write down the average speed in of two things, right, of 2 S1 S2, then I can able to write it as 2 S1 S2 divided by S1 plus S2, right? I just simply substitute the value over here, twice of 4 and 3, and over here we are having 4 plus 3, which is nothing but, here we got 7 and 12, 20, wait, 12 and 24 by 7, right? And this thing is actually given as 24. This thing is given as 24, as the average speed is given as 24, so this one is eliminated. So basically this value is present on the multiple of 7. As we got our value as 7, that means this value is present on the multiple of 7, right? Because this is the assumed one, not the actual value, and we need to find out his speed in the traffic. His speed in the traffic is this, that means 3 into 7, the speed that I got is 21 kilometers per hour. Option number D is the correct one. Option number D is the correct one. It's quite easy. So this is the last question, and this question is for your homework, and the question says that if Raju covers 400 km of distance, half by bike and the remaining by cycle in 4 hours, if the ratio of speed of bike and cycle is 4:5, then find the speed of the bike. So basically this is a one question, and this question is for your homework. You can easily able to solve it, as this is a very easy one. But before winding up this particular lecture, there's one more thing that I need to tell you, that ACE is offering few pre-recorded courses. Currently they are offering for the CBT-1, CBT-2, RRB NTPC, for which you can use this particular code RRB25 to get 25% discount. But there are some other courses as well. For that, what you can do, you can just simply visit the website, which is nothing but www.ace.online, there where you can go through the courses and you will get all the courses over there, right? And they are also offering the RRB JE 2024 the online test, but there's one important thing. So ACE is going to conduct the free mock test, and this is going to be held on 8th of December 2024. The timings are from 11 AM to 12:30 PM, and the mode is online, so you can go and register yourself, and it's completely free, so go and attempt it, right? So all the very best from our side. Thank you so much for watching this particular video. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, keep smiling, stay safe, bye bye, and thank you so much again.